The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Nikki Glaser Podcast. It's Wednesday, but here it's Sunday. I just want to be honest with you guys. It's been a long weekend, and this is how we're rounding it out.
You kept thinking that it was Monday.
That's the voice. It was the voice of my boyfriend, Chris Convey. Yeah. Because I had a show on Thursday this weekend, and I usually start my shows on Friday. That I thought last night's show was Sunday. I almost said, "What's up, Baltimore? Thank you for coming out on a Sunday night." But I had two shows in Boston, and then I was in Boston for two nights, which I'm only usually in a city for one night. So it was like, it almost felt like that was just one. And then, so Boston, I did Thursday, Friday, and then I was in Baltimore. It was a great weekend of shows. Chris was there for Boston night 2 and Baltimore. It was fun. He's on the road with me now because he's producing my stand-up special.
Yeah, we're prepping for the special
that we're getting ready to do. Yeah.
What'd you think of those shows this weekend?
I thought about them. Thought about them a lot. I liked them a lot. Honestly, the crowds were awesome.
Yeah, the crowds I thought were great.
It feels like the material's popping off.
Boston's
I've been getting
good.
more notes about just like DMs saying stuff about my material that is really heartening. Of like, just you're saying things I needed to hear, or you really made me think, or I got this really nice message I want to read actually, because I think I read it to you last night, Chris, but it just like really warmed my heart. Because sometimes I will look over my DMs and I'll see like a certain word and I'll be like, oh no, it's going to be someone who's mad at me. Like I've offended someone or something.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a huge tower of text. I'm just like, this could be them being like, hey, I like you, but I want to let you know something that really like fucked with me and hurt my feelings, because that's happened before. And it's like, it's pretty devastating when I hurt someone's feelings. It's one of the worst feelings.
Yeah,
in the
you don't
world.
like it.
No, I don't. So, but this, I saw a couple keywords in here, and at first I freaked out. Because a lot of times they lead with nice and then they go, but. You know, so I can't even trust the first part. But this person,
butt.
Yeah, the infamous butt. By the way, Brian and Noah are here, by the way. Hi, guys.
But everybody knew that already.
They know.
Yeah.
They know.
We're standard.
Yes, they're standard. They come with the packaging. What is it called? They're
Batteries not included?
Yeah, you're the battery.
But they are
And sometimes
included.
they are included. Yeah, they are. We
Batteries included.
Yeah, you're my battery today. You're a double. You're a.
What's your favorite battery?
I think my favorite is a AAA because they're small and they're like, they don't weigh down the device, and you always have AAAs. AA's, you always are like, oh, are they going to be working? But AAA's, we always have excess of. So when something requires a AAA, I'm always kind of excited. Do you guys agree?
As you get older, C's and D's become much less appropriate. Like, because those mostly go in
What's
toys
a
and
C?
stuff. A C battery? You don't remember the C?
The volt.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. I mean, I'm
It's
sure I
smaller than a
recognize it.
D.
Is it the square?
No, it's
square
a
top that like
it's a
the two little
tube.
nozzles.
It's a tube, but it's just a
Really?
little bit smaller than
you're
a D.
It's a big one. And those
right.
D's are huge.
The D's, I remember the D's. Those are crazy.
Yeah,
Those
D's-
are horrible for the environment.
D's
Yeah.
are what like Philadelphians use as weapons at sporting events. They call D's the Philadelphia grenade.
I just remember I've seen memes a lot for the kids of the 90s. Like, no one will understand ruining your fingers and like you're getting like almost bone spurs from trying to do the battery, check the battery and see how much power was left in the Duracells. Remember when you press on one and then press on the other end, and you have to like press it down so much to see if it has life in it.
Those were awesome.
But it was like so hard to press on those things, and you didn't know if you were pressing hard enough because it would fill up. So if anyone's listening that doesn't know what I'm talking about, they used to have a little thing on the side of the battery that you could press on, and you could see how much life was in the battery.
You'd press the side of the battery and the top of the battery.
Yes.
And then I think it was some sort of magnetic something that would like start filling up, and you'd be like,
Yes.
oh, we got some power here, baby.
But it's not easy to press the side of something and the end of something. That's not a good way to get pressure. Do you know what I mean? Like the side is slipping. So I'd always dig my nail into it like it was a bug bite, and it wouldn't work.
My parents had a battery tester from like the early 70s. And I used it all the time.
You still use it?
Well, no, not for a while, but we still have it.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I
Okay.
don't think I've ever pressed on one of those batteries and had it be any charge at all. The only time
No,
I
and
press
that's the
on it,
thing.
it's empty.
Well, you think it would be empty because you weren't putting enough pressure on it, but you're right. They mostly were empty.
You
and
wouldn't be testing it unless it was like, oh, my thing's not working. Let me check if I have charge. Then you check it and
That's
it's like,
a good point.
oh yeah, it's just confirming
You know
that.
what else
this
is a
sucks.
battery tester? The on button. Yeah, of the remote. Okay, so my husband and I went to the Thursday night Boston show. Nikki, you friggin' killed it in capital marks. Capital
All
marks?
caps.
All caps, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I am a big fan and a bestie for a few years now, but have never seen you live. I have to say though, no, I'm just kidding. This is where it could turn, but it didn't. Mostly because she said, I'm a big fan and a bestie for a few years now, but have never seen you live. Mostly because I am an overweight person who has a lot of anxiety about going to comedy shows for a variety of reasons. Will the comedian call me out for being fat? Will the seats be ridiculously small? Lots of obese person anxiety. So when I saw the word fat, obese, overweight, I was like, uh-oh, did I make this person uncomfortable? Because I do talk about being fat. I talk about fat people in my act, not making fun of them, obviously, but I do talk about fat people. And I think someone who's not, maybe someone who could be maybe overly sensitive or is not understanding what I'm saying could misconstrue what I'm saying and think that I'm I'm making fun of fat people.
Yeah.
No, it's a part of getting to jokes. And it's defending defending people that aren't like supermodels.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to defend.
And-
You're defending the fat people.
Well, I'm actually just addressing the fact that our society discriminates against fat people and that it's fucked up. And if we don't have, let's not act like there's total fat acceptance in show business just because there's 3 fat people on TV. Like there is, you're still incentivized in show business
the
and
fat
in the
people
real
aren't
world
even that
to be
fat.
thin. Exactly. Yes, it's true. And like one Dove campaign didn't fix everything. And like, I love fat acceptance and I love the fat acceptance movement, but the work isn't done. Like, and Hollywood still is, they're such fucking liars. And most of the time they get involved in the fat acceptance movement just to be on the woke side of things. And then they let one fat person on TV and then that's the end of the story. And they go, well, we have one.
Yeah, we've got her.
We're fine. And then there's no one else. And so it's really to prove a point about the fact that I hate the fact that I'm obsessed about my looks and all these things, but I'm actually smart in being so because you get less work if you aren't the way show business wants you to look. So I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm just saying like I'm justified in this insane mindset that I have sometimes because the world in which I'm living in does not reward fat people.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
So
not
anyway, that's my
prejudiced.
point.
The world is prejudice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the point
It's
I
on
keep
them.
making.
You got to be hot and skinny.
You do well. It definitely behooves you.
It behooves.
There's no question about it.
I don't know
there's
one
no-
fat, ugly person that's successful. I couldn't name one.
You do. I could name some, but I'm not
there's-
going to because it seems mean. Even though I would argue that being fat and ugly is not a crime, and I should be
not
able
a
to say
crime.
someone's fat and ugly.
Well,
But
that's
you
part of
can
what
get
I
in
said.
trouble. That's my point. Is like you get in trouble if you say someone's fat and ugly. But some people just are. But you can't say it because they go, "That's mean," and you're like, "Well, that's the truth." I mean,
After
some
the
people
pod,
just.
I want you to tell me who's fat and ugly and successful because I feel like all the fat people that I've seen successful are attractive, and all the ugly
watch
people are skinny.
What about John Candy? And I could say it because he's no longer with us.
Yeah, let's disparage the dick.
Yeah, he just logged off.
Well, it's also different because it's different for men as well.
Oh, for men,
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
Yeah, that's a good point.
True.
So fat, ugly women.
a fat, ugly woman who's successful because I think there's a lot of fat women who are attractive,
What does
and there's
ugly
a lot
mean?
of ugly women who are skinny, but not both.
What does ugly mean? Because I think what you're talking about is someone, if they were thin, they would have a hot face. I think that's what we're saying, right? Or they have like a pretty face, but they're fat. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Ugly to me, I would think would equal your face is not symmetrical. If we're talking scientifically, what ugly versus what aesthetically beautiful people versus aesthetically unbeautiful people. I'm saying no, there's no moral judgment here. If you're ugly, it's not a crime. It's not a bad thing. But your face is not as symmetrical as people who are beautiful. Would we all agree on that?
Or pointy.
Well, no, I think the science
Pointy.
the science aspect of it, the symmetrical thing. Yeah, I guess it has some merit, and like Denzel has the most symmetrical face, therefore he is the most handsome. But I think a lot of this is so subjective.
Yeah, it's subjective.
I think it's kind of objective. I make that point in my special, or I will hopefully.
I think it gets to a place where it can be objective.
Yeah.
There's
but
a
then there's
threshold.
also
But then
some,
there's-
some
yeah.
space for like,
I've been attracted to people who would probably be ugly because I've gotten to know them and I can't see
Yes.
the ugly anymore.
yeah, you thought they were ugly.
At first.
Yeah.
And thought there's no way. And then they win you over. And
Name
thank God for that.
names.
Yeah.
Name names. Thank God
Everybody
for
Nikki
that.
dated.
Not everyone. No. But a lot of them. But most. Okay. So she goes on to say, so this is just, I read this because it's interesting that just thinking from the perspective of someone who's obese, like these are anxieties they have. If you're not obese, you don't understand this struggle. You don't understand like going to a comedy show. I would be worried as an obese person. Will they make a fat joke? Not even about me in general. Will everyone be thinking, oh my God, this girl next to me is fat. She's probably like uncomfortable, you know? There's just like lots of worries. Will the seats be big enough?
That's the big one, is the anxiety of taking up space.
Yeah.
I think is one of the ones that
It's
must
such
be
a bummer.
so difficult.
She said, after listening to the pod for these few years and losing a lot of weight, I saw you added a Thursday show just a couple of days after my birthday, and I asked my husband if he would come with me to Boston to see you. He said yes, and we came to the show. I would never have had the courage to come to that show if it weren't for the way you put yourself out there on the pod. We had the best time. Your show killed. I think it's the most evolved set I've ever seen. And OMG, my husband sometimes, and then says the thing, and I don't want to give it away because it's my closer. But her husband does a thing that in my closer I talk about. I've never seen anyone do before. It was just a really nice note. And speaking of, I also met a fat fan of mine. Shout out to, oh my God, what's her name? I'm so embarrassed that I don't remember. Marilyn? Marissa. Sorry, Marissa. Marissa came to the Taylor Swift day that I did on Friday in Boston.
I want to hear more about that.
I can't wait.
Oh my
to
God,
hear
it was
about that.
so awesome. But I'll just real quickly say that Marissa at the end of it, she was one of the MVPs of the whole thing. She was just so fun. She wrote me personally and was like, I can't go to your Thursday show, but I'd really love to go. And I was like, girl, I'll save you a ticket. So she goes and she was so fun. And just, we were dancing the entire time, singing, dancing. She was just like cool with everyone. She was just went alone, but she was like involving everyone, and everyone just like loved her and was so fun to have her there. And then on the way out, she was like, I just want to say I'm fat, and like, I really appreciate you talking about fat, like acceptance and fat people. And I just like loved, and she was like, and I love that if I was on a plane, you would like sit next to me and you wouldn't care. She was like, I can't wait to sit next to you on a plane someday. Cause I always say that if you're a fat person on a plane, if you're a skinny person on a plane and a fat person gets on, if you ever scoff or make a face, you're gonna go to hell. You're a bad person.
Oh, man.
You deserve a coach seat in hell, a middle coach seat in hell between two fat demons.
Well, that's not
Or
fair.
gonna just
I scoff.
Clip their toenails the whole time. I hate you.
If I
you're
have an
this
empty
person.
seat next to me and people are boarding, I scoff no matter who is walking
That's
towards me.
dumb because someone has to sit next to you, Brian. It's not their
Not
fault.
necessarily. That could
don't
just be
own
an
the
empty
plane.
seat. Lucky day.
Yeah, but eventually it has to be filled. Like, okay, I get it. But if you're scoffing because they're fat, you're a bad person.
I'm not going to scoff at their fatness. I'm going to scoff at their humanity. Their
I think
existence.
if they're fat, you should just never scoff.
The problem
no
with
matter
that
what.
is then they think that you're scoffing because of their
They're
weight.
fat. That's
I
what
just
I'm
gotta
saying.
hope
You
they're
have
not
to-
fat because I'm going to
you gotta
scoff.
Have you guys seen that
God.
that video of a guy while a Southwest flight is boarding, and he stares straight ahead, and then he's sitting in the middle seat, and he just pats the seat next to him like with maintaining eye contact. and goes,
Yeah. It's the greatest way to get someone to not sit there. It's so
Yeah.
brilliant.
it's a great video.
So I'll just say Friday in Boston at 12:30 at the AMC in Methuen outside of Boston was so freaking fun. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was me and I think 35 besties
It
and one or
looked
two
so
people that snuck
amazing.
in. It was so good.
What
Everyone
an
was
amazing
game.
thing to do for your fans too.
It
I mean,
was
No.
And for
awesome.
yourself. I mean,
Who else
you
does
get
that?
surrounded by people that, because even when you bring your best friends to Taylor Swift,
They don't like her as much as
they don't like her as
me.
much as you do, or as much as some of your besties do.
Yeah.
Like when you meet somebody who's not necessarily your friend, who's a Taylor person, you guys have some weird thing that is different than your friendships with other people.
I had my friend Noor Hadidi open for me this weekend, and Noor, if you're listening, like 30% of the reason I invited her this weekend was because of the Swiftie thing, and
70s because she's funny.
Yeah, and 70 because she's funny. If she wasn't funny, she would not be there. No question. And nice and just a fun hang. But man, she's as much of a Swiftie as I am, and we were able to geek out so hard backstage. It was like kind of annoying to be around, I'm sure.
Yes.
But it was just so fun
Yes.
to talk about nuances of songs and like she wore this and what this video means and like all of the fun things. But I will say that I was inspired by Taylor Swift to do this because Taylor Swift famously has done listening parties where she invites Swifties. She doesn't do it anymore. She hasn't done it, I think, since like maybe Reputation. Or maybe she didn't do it for Lover. So it might have been Reputation. She would invite Swifties to her house for a listening party and just hang out with them all night.
Well, didn't we see video footage of Swift watching her own movie and like singing and having like the time of her life?
Yes.
Somebody was telling me, I think maybe it was Anya. Somebody was like, maybe it was Nort, was like, Nikki didn't stop dancing for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I did.
People were like, oh, surely, people will take a break or it'll be like a thing.
Yeah.
But it was like 3.5 hours, all dancing, all singing. And you let your voice go, like you sang.
I sang. That was the nice thing about it is because I think that if I would have gone to see it in a regular theater, I wouldn't have sang at the top of my lungs because I wouldn't want to ruin anyone else's time. But because I paid $900 for this theater and everyone got in for free, I'm like, if they have a problem with me singing, they can leave. They did give up their afternoons for me and drive out there, and I appreciate. But I was like, it's the way I feel on my birthday when I do karaoke. I'm like, I can just do one song after the other because it's my birthday and I'll sing if I want to. And this was kind of so I got to sing the whole time, and it is exhausting to sing that much. Taylor Swift puts in the work, man. Like when I usually go to air and dancing and just be
Outfit changes, everything.
The singing though was really hard. I was like, wow, vocally she is just. I mean, we already know she's so strong, but it was so fun. And
what was one of your favorite things about it?
Was so we all ended up going to like I would say more than half of us all ended up going to the very front section, where it was like the handicap section where it was kind of flat, and there was like a section of like 3 rows with no chairs. And we're just dancing in the front, and we stayed there for I think 3/4 of the movie. Once we went down there, it was like nonstop being down there and just looking at the screen and then looking back and just singing with them. Everyone knew all the words. I mean, these were like solid Swifties that like got it. And just like, and also knowing that like the people were so excited to be hanging out with me.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination. If they like you and Taylor, what a dream come true.
Yeah, there were times where I was like, I want to make sure I hang out with everyone. Like, I want to give everyone an equal opportunity to sing with me and have fun with me. But then I kind of let that go and was like, listen, if I'm open, like they can come up to me. They know that I'm like nice at this point. I've met all of them. Like, I don't need to worry about, I don't want this to be like my wedding. I always feel like sorry for brides on their wedding because they have to like say hello to everyone and dance with everyone and like and I'm like, it's your day. So at some point I let it go and was like, this is my day too, and like I can let this go and I can just have fun with the people that want to come up. But I felt like everyone got a good chance to hang out with me, and I felt like I got to know everyone on like at least I spend one song kind of singing with everyone, and it was just nice. Like now and then later that night, one of them, Zach, was at the show on Friday night, and I saw him, and it was like I was friends with him because we spent all day together. So it's like I have my friend here.
I watched you at the meet and greet, and a few people came up to you, and I was like, "Oh, I must know some of these people," but I didn't. They were
just
like new
besties
friends
that were there that day. It was so fun. It was, just singing Taylor Swift energizes me so much. It's just. I'm so lucky to be a Swiftie. I cannot believe how lucky I am to like something that is so popular that other people like just as much as me, that has a concert in the movie theaters that is this phenomenon. Like I'm so glad I get it.
It's a perfect shortcut for Swifties to be friends with other Swifties.
Yes.
If you show up and like, I've noticed like if when girls see, or when people see people with like the bracelets on, they immediately feel like they're going to go talk to that person.
Yeah.
Or like a shirt or all of that stuff. It's
that's
like,
why I wear shirts all the time. I just want to
shortcut to
connect
friendship.
with people because I don't really love talking to strangers about nothing. I think everyone knows that about me. But if they want to talk about Taylor Swift, I will. It's all I want. I will talk to anyone, anytime. I don't care if you're homeless and have poop on your face. I want to get into it and find out what you think about Travis Kelce and who you think Now That We Don't Talk is about. Anyway, let's take a break and talk more about this weekend and more about just adventures in general and see what Brian was up to this weekend. All right, we're back.
can I read a post that somebody did about this weekend?
Yeah.
There was two. So I had a great time because.
Did I ask? Did I fucking ask?
All right. Well, now we're not getting the compliments.
No, give me.
No compliments. You blew it.
What?
You blew it.
No, come on,
Big
read
time.
it. Let's hear it.
Okay, so there was a few guys that came to the show that,
Bros.
What's that?
Bros.
Yeah,
there's some
bros. Well, and some gals too, some bros and gals that were really, really nice to me. And then, that person, those people and I would talk about you, kind of like how sometimes you talk about Taylor Swift. But Ben was one of my favorites, and he.
Oh yeah, he was the one that was at the very last of the meet and greet last night, right?
Yeah, he was in Baltimore. So nice. I talked to him for
I think
a while.
Baltimore might be the city of besties.
It was a great looking crowd.
There are so many cities with lots of besties, but this was the city of the most diehard besties.
Yeah, people really brought
Damn.
it. Boston was really good too.
Boston,
but
Boston's
it was
unreal.
It was a really.
There's something in the air up in the Northeast.
You're
It was a
throwing the
beautiful
gauntlet
weekend.
down. There's some cities out there who are clamoring.
I know. I don't mean to threaten anyone, but they really came out in Baltimore last night. Like diehards. One girl named her Wi-Fi Kuh.
That's awesome.
That's big. That's
Yeah,
a big deal to me.
That is a big deal.
By the way, I did get a bestie bracelet that someone made me for the Taylor Swift day
that's great.
that said "Kuh Summer." I posted it on our socials. So
Yeah,
you guys
that's
probably
awesome.
saw
That
it,
was
but that
awesome.
was so funny. I was like so mad that I hadn't thought of that yet. That is brilliant. That touched me.
That could like almost be the name of your tour next summer. Just saying.
Next
But
summer.
this
That's a good idea.
is something Ben, because it's what you talk about going to shows alone. He said, you put good things in the universe, they come back. I would say Nikki Glaser is just as generous as she is talented, and that is
Wait,
amazing.
did you write this down after you talked to him?
Write this down. He posted this.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
He posted this. So it's a
I thought
picture,
you were like taking notes like a little reporter on
a
the
picture
on the
of you in it.
Like
He's
inline
got a little
typewriter.
notepad.
Yeah.
You're on the record.
If you go see her and you're by yourself, you can meet her after the show. She doesn't have to do this. She wants to. People like me who battle depression and anxiety don't like doing things by ourselves. This opportunity is incredible and lets you feel comfortable going out alone. This is the second time I've seen her, and her stand-up is world class. If you're by yourself or with 20 friends, go see her. You will not be disappointed. Thank you, Nikki, for your generosity
That's so sweet.
and for chatting with me. We need more good humans like this in the world.
That's so nice. He was so sweet,
No, he was
and he
great.
brought a picture of us that we took last time he came to my meet and greet, and I think it was the first show that he went alone to. And since then, he's gone to so many things alone. And he was giving me a list of his week plans. He's going to see Esther alone. He's going to see he saw some singer the night before alone. He went to New York and saw some actress that sang in a bar. It was like he does more stuff than anyone I know now, and he's doing it all alone because he's overcome that fear.
And
Should
Nikki's
become-
invited us to go.
You should become an agent.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go to an agent.
You should become an agent. That's what they do. You just go to shows alone. You watch.
That's really what I've always told people. If you are worried about going alone to a show, just tell, and you think people are going to judge you, bring a little notepad and look like a journalist
Yeah.
that's reviewing it. But agent's really good too. So what would you hold if you were an agent? A business card. Money.
Roofie.
20% of the artist's income. A
Yeah,
roofie. A flip phone.
Oh, a headset.
A headset.
Like one of those
yes,
like
yes,
Bluetooth,
yes.
old school Bluetooth headsets.
So go in there with
That
a
was-
Bluetooth headset, a flip phone, and a roofie, and then it'll be okay.
Think of how many things though people miss out on because they just can't find a friend to go with them, or they're or they just don't have friends. Friends are really hard to make.
Well, and as
Especially
you get older,
Yeah.
Yes.
as you get older, it's harder to find people to do
Impossible.
the things that, like, I don't know anybody basically to go do. I know few people. Okay, I know few people to go do F1 stuff with, but it's hard.
You need what do you guys call it yourselves?
No, I got a guy who listens to the radio show called Jake. He likes the exact same music as me and F1.
Where does he live?
He lives in St. Louis.
What the fuck, Chris?
Yeah.
Why aren't you hanging out with him?
He's my best friend.
No, he's not. I've never heard of this person.
He's the only friend I've ever had. His name's Jake.
Do you like the same drivers?
Yes, we do. Yeah, and like same music, same. We're definitely.
I know
best
about
friends.
F1.
Yeah, you know a little bit.
I do. I this morning he was watching it in bed, and I was just like, "How are vroom brooms?" And he was just like, "They're good." I was like, "They're vrooming."
Besides Taylor Swift, what is something that you've gotten into like later in life that your friends don't share? I guess Taylor Swift is the best.
It's the only one.
It's the only one.
It's the only thing.
That you're
really,
into.
I think maybe some TV shows, Succession, and I think you should leave, like things like that. There are sometimes comedy things where I go, you have to see this. I will say my favorite movie of all time that I can't wait to share with you is The Worst Person in the World, and that for a while
is it
was
autobiographical.
Burn.
Gotcha. That's payback. That's
For vroom
classic payback. No, for when you said, did I ask you?
Got me. Yeah, it's really good. So there's sometimes like things that we're watching The Golden Bachelor together, and that's become really fun. I could never watch that show on my own, although it is a cultural phenomenon enough that people are talking about it online a lot, so I could find communities of people. But The Golden Bachelor is fun to watch with you. Last night, in fact, we were watching an episode of it, and it's really getting down to it. There's 3 women left, and there's one who's like very soft-spoken, and her lipstick always kind of bothers me because I should make fun of her because I would literally slice my face off right now to be guaranteed to have her face when I am 65 or whatever hers is. She's so
there's a few
stunning
of
for
them.
65, but her way she talks bothers me. And she was the one that was like bragging to the other girls in the house a lot about, she didn't mean to be bragging, but she would just be like, Gary and I had the most amazing conversation. He came up to my room and was so nice. And they're like, he was in your room. And so she would just like make the other girls jealous. But that's classic Bachelor. I mean, like you only have the other women in the house to talk about your relationship with this guy, and they are dating him too. So it's just kind of the way it goes.
That's like when Vince came in after his date with Katie on FBOY Island, and he's like, game over.
Game over. Oh, no. That was such a dramatic thing. But he meant what people thought that we're talking about FBOY Island. When Vince said game over, I know what Vince meant. Vince was saying game over for me. Like it's over. I'm sprung on this woman.
Yeah, Vince
game
is too
over.
kind.
Right.
I'm done. And everyone took it as like, like Vince is going to threaten people. Vince is like, I mean, stay tuned because he could be an F-boy. You don't know. But like, that was just not Vince's style. And so, but they, everyone's just so on edge being like.
They all twisted it because they're like, oh, to this, like, this is a game to Vince. That's what he meant by that.
God, it's so annoying on that show. Like,
what a crazy
did you hear me say to Mercedes? He was like, this isn't a game to me, and I go, this is literally a game show. Yes, it's because it is a game, and they're like, this is a game to you, and it's like, yes, it is. There's
literally
money on
game.
the line. This is a TV show where
this
people are
isn't a
falling in love.
TV show to me.
If anyone thinks anyone goes on TV to fall in love, you're insane. Yes, they could go on TV to fall in love, but they're mainly there to be on TV.
Yeah.
But I do believe on The Golden Bachelor we are finding, and I believe on FBOY. I mean, keep watching FBOY Island because
It's real.
the season.
Because we need you to.
Well, we desperately need you to. I don't know if you know the ratings, Brian, but it's not our fault. The show is good. It's just
I've seen articles. I've seen some articles out there that were not. They were not glowing about the ratings.
Well, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Can I just say this?
the ratings.
I don't give a fuck about ratings. There's too much TV. The fact that no one knows where to find the CW ain't my fault. It's not because we did a bad job on the show. It's not because the show isn't good. Do you know how much good shit never gets seen because of just where it is?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's about marketing. It's about what audience. It's about who has cable. It's about people don't even know where to find the CW on their dial. It's about, an ad for it didn't show up in my feed. It's about, it's been too long since it's been on air. air, and so people kind of forgot about it, and there wasn't the momentum of carrying into the third season. There's a million reasons why the show isn't doing as well as it did last time, and it has nothing to do with the quality of it. So I don't give a fuck about ratings. I really don't. They don't affect me at all. You were there when I got the email about the ratings.
Yeah.
I was sad for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even sad. I was just like, well, fuck it. We're still doing F Girl. They got to air that. People are gonna
they're gonna air it.
And it's gonna be amazing. People might not watch it, but I've had 2 shows canceled already in my life. 3. Sorry, my reality show as well. I've had 3 television shows not do well and eventually go off air because of ratings. Has it affected my career? No. I mean, could it have been good for my career if they succeeded? Yes.
But maybe it wouldn't have been as good because you wouldn't be focusing on stand-up. And
yeah, everything happens for a reason. So I really recommend people. I was just talking to someone this weekend. We were talking to Alex Edelman, who came and did a set.
Oh, yeah. If you guys don't know who Alex Edelman is, get on board.
He's just on Kimmel.
Yeah, he was on Kimmel the night before we saw him. He was in Boston. He texted me when I was at the Taylor Swift show, and he was like, do you want to hang out? I was like, I'm here, but like, come do a set tonight. And so he stopped by, and then we hung out, and then he went and did another set after mine, and then he came back to our hotel room, and we had him over to hang out and watched him eat candy.
Hang. Yeah.
He ate 4 boxes of movie candy that someone had given, a bestie had given me, and Alex Edelman ate it all. So, but I was happy because I don't eat candy, so I was happy it got done. But
I love that guy.
I love him so much too, and he was talking about he's having a surge of success right now. He had a run on Broadway that was extremely successful. He is probably going to win a Tony. He is now doing a run of his show in LA coming up.
They shot it as well. It'll be a special.
It's an HBO special.
It's an HBO special. It's a 1-man show. It'll be out. I don't know when it's going to come out, but they shot it.
Yeah.
Somewhat recent, like 4 months ago.
Yeah, Edelman, Edelman. He's going to be a huge deal if you don't even know about him yet. But he's kind of having this surge of success, and it was so funny to listen to him say, like, he's just now having this success. It hasn't even. There's things ahead of him that are so big. He's doing. He performed for Biden the other night. Like, there's not even like what's come for him hasn't even started, even though it's like it's definitely coming. Like, he can see it on the horizon, and he's already worried about losing the things that he has that he's about to get, that he's guaranteed to get. He's already worried that once they're done, he's just going to be a one-hit wonder. And I'm like, if you're not enjoying this now, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah.
And also, I know this is easy for me to say, but I went through that,
Yeah.
I went through feeling like after my MTV show got canceled, this is so embarrassing. Everyone knows that I have a canceled show. Meanwhile, no one gives a fuck. No one even knew you had a show, Nikki. All that really matters in this business, and everyone has heard me say this before, is the deadline announcement.
Yes.
And it's the announcement that you got a show.
Yeah.
The announcement that I have a special coming out when I announce it finally and have the deadline thing is going to be, unfortunately, probably more valuable than the special itself, and more people will see it, and that will make a bigger impact on the industry thinking I'm something than the special itself.
But like, Brian, what percentage do you think of shows that get made and go on TV don't ever make it into like the zeitgeist? I mean,
the zeitgeist? Oh my God, 90%?
99, 95%, something like that.
The last 2 shows that I worked on didn't even get a deadline article. We didn't even get deadline.
And I'm right in saying, like, you were waiting for that, right?
Oh my
like, that's
God.
a big fucking deal.
Oh my God, I would have loved to have posted a deadline article. I didn't get a deadline article when I sold the show, even though other shows that were in development at the same time did. And I didn't get a deadline article for the show that I was show running. We couldn't get anybody to even review that show. When that show came out.
What is the show, do you want to say?
Adventure Beast on Netflix. It's like a cartoon supposed to be for tweens, but things happen, and it wasn't for tweens. But I tried to give
Who was it for?
It was for adults for some reason. It's not supposed to be. It was not supposed to be competing with Inside Job, but it was, even though it was supposed to be for kids. Oh my
God, it was competing with Inside Job?
Inside Job, which was
Wasn't
pretty
that a
good.
movie?
No, it was a cartoon, an Illuminati cartoon that also upset me. But before the show came out, I was charged with trying to email just like YouTubers who had like less than 100 views per video just to interview me and the star of the show, just to get somebody to say something. I emailed like 20 different just YouTubers. This isn't like Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
One person responded. Rama's Screen. Shout out to Rama's Screen. You guys all know Rama, right? In the screen.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
go get him, Rama.
He's a tastemaker.
Yeah, so we got on Rama's Screen. We did an interview there, and that was the only one who even responded to my email. And I'm like, this is a show premiering on Netflix. It's not like we're not premiering it on some shit place.
The Reels channel.
Yeah, it wasn't on the Reels channel.
CW.
It wasn't on the CW.
Just kidding. I'm so grateful to be on the CW.
Yeah, I love the CW.
Chris is looking at me like, why are you torching your career right now? I'm a comedian.
Hey,
I'm making jokes.
I
love the
things
CW.
going on that are great at the CW.
Yeah, I mean, there are. I'm just saying.
They actually do have a show right now that people are talking about. I forget what it's called. But
really?
I just saw an article being like, you guys should check out this show on the CW. It wasn't FBOY Island.
I met an executive for the CW. He came to my show last night, and he seemed very proud of me and was very excited to meet me.
FBOY Island
the show's
is
great,
a good show.
and you're great on it. And what the feedback I get is we need more Glaser.
You know,
that's my feedback too.
Oh, that's really nice, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
more
you.
more Glaser.
More Glaser.
I don't really watch myself, so I haven't watched it. This is my fatal flaw: is I can't watch tape.
Can't watch tape. What was the Johnny Manziel thing that you liked?
He didn't watch tape.
Watched zero tape.
Zero tape.
How much tape did you watch, Johnny?
Zero. And Johnny Manziel, 30 for 30, watched zero tape, but he was just like kind of just got by.
Have we talked about how
did it work for him?
No.
In the end, no.
No.
Did he need to be watching tape? 100% yes.
Yes.
Have we talked about how Nikki only likes sports, but 10 years from now? So like she loves sports documentaries, but she doesn't like current sports as they're happening.
Yes.
I love
But it's great because
so good.
Now when I'm like encouraging her, or like something's not going her way, or if we want to do something ambitious, I always bust out like Michael Jordan stuff or Johnny Manziel stuff.
I do relate to athletes in that way. When I look back, because athletes I've found are a lot like me in that they nothing's ever good enough. Some of them are super cocky, but a lot of them have low self-esteem, I think. A lot of them feel like they're only alive when they like completely shift from like when they're on stage or off stage or off the court or on court. And they're just complicated, like kind of depressed people a lot of time.
It's a mental, like a lot of it, like they've got the talent, the skill, and then the mental game comes into it.
You need the mental game, the quest for perfection. Nothing's ever good enough. It's always got to be better because there's someone next to you who's going to be doing it twice as hard, and they're going to beat you.
Who do you guys consider?
David Beckham would be better off if his dad wasn't so mean. I think he wouldn't have been as successful and all that stuff, but I think he'd be a happier person if his dad wasn't such a dick.
Who do you think is like the biggest when you think of like mental giant with like a winning mentality, who do you think of first?
Michael Jordan.
David Goggins.
David Goggins?
Yeah, I don't know anything about him, but I just know that he like
that's a really good one.
He seems like if I could have anyone's brain, he seems like someone who's just like loves himself.
Goggins is great. And Jordan is probably the number one guy. Kobe's up there for sure.
Sure.
But Kobe's I'm not saying, but wasn't his belief in himself kind of the reason that he was like, go through the fog?
Right.
Like, doesn't that become detrimental?
I think everybody anybody with
it was the guy driving the helicopter's belief in himself that was like, I should go through this fog.
I don't really know anything about it. Yeah,
no, I don't know anything about it either. But someone was cocky in that situation. There was a cocky person involved. It was foggy.
Right. I think that. I guess that's a really good question. Like, whose mental fortitude would you want to have? I honestly want to have Taylor Swift's because she seems to have a healthy balance of, she seems humble and she seems like she still is like really excited about everything that's happening to her. She seems, and she obviously has a ton of confidence to do what she has, but she also doesn't seem delusional. And I think Michael Jordan seems delusional, even though he is great. It's like his like wanting to get back at his coach. I mean, Taylor Swift has some of that too.
Yeah, I mean that's revenge. A lot of Taylor is like the revenge stuff, right? Like sticking it to so much vengeance, and that's what Jordan has in his heart. Jordan, I don't think he's delusional.
Okay,
No.
Well, not delusion because he is the best.
But they do fabricate, not fabricate, but they create some sort of an enemy to fight against.
You gotta have an enemy.
I mean, I guess if that's...
I don't have one.
You need to have an enemy. You have at least 3 at any given time. You need 3.
Well, you're my producer, Chris. Get me an enemy for the special.
I could think of a few.
Really?
Yeah, I could think of a few.
Oh, I have a couple too. That you could have. Yeah, I know. I know one specifically.
Well, there's definitely people that I'm in competition with.
I've got a baker's dozen. You can literally have some of mine.
Yeah, I'll take some of your enemies. I can't think of any that I have. I have all the people that I used to hate. I've already eclipsed.
Yeah, well, you've achieved so much success. Your enemies have less power. Which for someone like me, enemies are just like jet fuel. I have too many. I have too much disappointment. It's almost not helping anymore. Like, to just be my friend now.
I don't want my life to be... I don't want to... I really think that manifestation and all the things that lead to a really healthy, great life are being positive and thinking good thoughts. And really any kind of motivation being like, I want this person to do badly or because I want to do good is just a poison in my system. And I'm selfishly like... No, I still feel that way about these people. I have it in my heart to like want, it's almost like the way I feel about not eating meat. I still have the taste for it. I still crave cheese. I still crave meat. I don't do it because I'm trying to do the right, well, no, I'm not doing that selfishly. That's the opposite of this. I'm only not wanting to hate on my haters because I know that it's bad for me.
Right. Yeah.
So it's selfish because I really think that I've been doing these manifestations recently and just listening to, like I just say to myself when I'm going to sleep, when I'm feeling, let's say recently I've been feeling, oh, I'm really sick of my act. I'm bored with it. I feel like I'm just like brain dead. I can't come up with new things. My one yesterday, what I just said to myself as I was going to sleep in my head was, you're sharp, funny, smart, and important to the world. You're sharp, funny, smart, and important to the world. You're sharp, funny, smart, and important to the world. I just kept saying it over and over. And then I sometimes feel, the other day I almost downvoted something on Reddit that was just me being jealous.
Well, that's one good thing that you're good at.
And I didn't do it. I didn't downvote it, even though no one would have ever known it was me. No one knows who downvotes things. It would have just been putting negativity into the world, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like.
Except on our intrusive thoughts episode, which I'm going to release.
I'm going to
get some anger out.
Once a year, you get it's like the
once
purge.
A month. Once a month, I let out my anger on intrusive thoughts. That episode, you got to be a Big Money Players golden member or whatever.
You want to absorb that hate.
Member, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you want to some of my hate, you'll see it there.
But I like how you when you're jealous of something, you go the opposite way.
I post it.
Sometimes it bothers me that you do it because I'm like, that person doesn't deserve that. But
then that's the worst.
But I only do it if I actually think the thing is funny.
Yeah.
There are people I'm jealous of that get a bunch of stuff and I don't think their stuff is funny or good. And I won't post it just because I'm like, I can be jealous of someone that sucks and I won't post it. But if I truly think the clip is funny and there's a little voice of me going, don't do it. I can't fight that voice.
You just
I gotta post it. And it's
funny,
hard to do.
That's a different story. You gotta fight against it if it's funny. But what's personally offensive is when someone succeeds with shit.
Dude,
that bothers me too.
I really think I could succeed with shit.
But I have a question real quick because you were saying you're not excited about your act sometimes.
Sometimes.
But why don't you ever you're hard on yourself. Why don't you ever give yourself credit? Like because I went to those 2 shows and I've seen your comedy probably more than anybody at this point.
Yeah.
And almost every time I go, even though I see the show evolve quite a bit, there's always something like new that you thought of like that day or an hour before. Why don't you give yourself credit for any of that stuff? Because some of that comes easy to you. Why don't you ever?
I think it's because it's easy. Because like things that are easy, I shouldn't get credit for. You should only get credit for things that make you go like, oh, at the end of it.
Why are you like that? Because
I think
don't you think a win is a win? Like,
don't you think? Because it's my example when someone was like, Nikki, your legs are amazing. What do you do for them? And I'm like, they're my dad's legs. I did nothing for them. I literally just got genetically good looking legs. I will not ever take credit for my legs because I didn't work for them. Now, if someone was like, you have, like, my abs are going to be pretty good after Pilates. If someone goes like, wow, your abs are amazing, I will go, I worked for these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
All my dad did was come in my mom in 1983 for my legs. I didn't do anything for that.
That's how you accept a compliment.
Yeah.
You're telling them that they're smart because you noticed that I had been working on my abs and they are good because I've been working on them.
Yes, the compliment.
Yes,
that's such a good point. Yeah, I guess I hear your point, and I think you're absolutely right. I need to give myself more credit for being the things I was saying. I'm quick, I'm smart, I'm sharp, I'm funny, and those things do come naturally to me, and they actually don't come naturally to me. Those are things
that you worked on.
The work is already done, so it doesn't feel like it's just there now.
Yeah.
And so when I come up with a new line on stage, I don't give myself credit for it because it was like I didn't sit down with a pen and paper and write that. So it doesn't feel like work.
But the work has already happened.
The work has already happened.
So you got to give yourself credit.
I'll give it. I'm really good. I'm quick, I'm sharp, I'm smart, and my voice is important.
You're just not thinking far back enough. The reason you're able to come up with those lines is because you did comedy 10 years ago, 15 years ago that trained your brain to be able to do that. So you should be really happy that your brain is functioning in that way because it took you 15 years to make that brain that way.
I'll take credit for it.
Yeah.
I really will.
Yeah.
Because you're smart and funny and sharp and important to the world now.
Important to the world. You have a voice and something to say.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go to break and talk about more stuff when we get back into this. Okay. So today we were boarding a plane to come to St. Louis. Our flight was in the morning. 6:25 a.m. was our flight, Brian. Last night. We got in from the show
daylight savings time?
Yeah, so we got an extra hour, so it's not as bad. We didn't lose an hour, we got an hour. Okay. But last night we got in after the show, and it was I had a 3-show night, or 3-show weekend, which is a long weekend, and did the Taylor Swift show. It was a pretty exhausting weekend with meet and greets. And Chris flew out to be with me, and then we traveled to Boston, then we traveled to Baltimore, and we did the show last night, and we get back to our hotel, and we're excited to just our show was at 7, we were done by 10:30, we're back at the hotel. And we got back and we're like, yes, we're back and nice hotel. And Chris is like, when's our flight tomorrow? I was like, let me look. It's probably 11 or something. And I'm like, in 4 hours. I was like, oh my God. It was so devastating. But we had a good attitude about it.
Did you sleep? Or did you decide to not sleep?
Well, Brian, my calculus, which I think actually might help you, is that when I'm going to get less than 4 hours, I just think of it as a dope ass nap. And then all of a sudden, it's not a bad night's sleep. It's a really good nap.
Ooh, okay.
If you're able to get a 3.5 hour nap, that is fucking amazing. So you just have to think of what it is and don't not think of what it isn't. So anyway, we get to the that was a triple negative. So we get to the. Yeah, that's true.
It's got to be your bowl.
We got to the airport in the morning and I was just feeling saucy. I even told Chris, I was like, it's as if it's 9 a.m. I'm feeling awake, kind of. It was 5 a.m. or whatever. And we're going through the TSA. And when you're going through TSA, there's some people that are slower loading their things on the thing. Well, there's a woman in front of me. There's a guy in front of me and there's a woman in front of me. In front of the woman had a seeing eye dog with her, so she was kind of struggling and taking her time. This guy, not the guy in front of me, there was a guy in front of me, but a guy from behind me comes flying out of nowhere and just has ample room to do it because the woman's kind of slow and we're all kind of waiting and being patient for her to load her stuff because she's got the dog and she might be blind. I don't really remember. It might have just been a dog for her anxiety or something. But this guy runs in, puts his bag up and shoves it down, takes a bin and dodges in front of her, cuts the line. There's 3 people in line and he cuts in front. And I go, what's with this asshole? I said asshole. I go, and then the guy in front of me was he kind of looked at me and I go, not you, sir. I go, what? Did you see that guy? What an asshole. I said it pretty loudly because I wanted the guy to hear me, but also not hear me and maybe think I'm the blind woman. No, I was ready to get into a thing with it because it was so egregious.
But he didn't hear?
He definitely heard, but he acted like he didn't, right? Mm-hmm. So then the guy in front of me is like, well, maybe he's in a hurry. I was like, then he should have told us that. I have no problem. As people know on this podcast, if you are missing your flight, butt me in line. Just tell me you're running late and I will get other people on board. I will say we got to let this girl go ahead. I will work for you. to get you ahead because I know what it's like to be late for a plane. It's so miserable because you're scared to ask people. You got to ask, and we'll always let you ahead. Always. I will always give you that benefit. But you got to ask. You can't just butt and assume.
Or just say, I'm sorry, I'm running late. I have to do this.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
But
and even if people are mad at you, he didn't
He got
say
away
any
with
of that.
it. He probably gets away with it all the time. That's the way the world works.
I think he does get away with. I think he does get away with it all the time.
He does. So
very
then the guy
few
goes,
people would have done what you did, even, and say, "Look at this asshole." Like he might have.
I mean, what a hero!
I have a new plan though. Okay, so the guy in front of me was like, maybe he's in a hurry, and I go, and then I'm almost mad at that guy. I'm like, don't make excuses for him. I was like, well, then he should have told us. So I'm getting an attitude with this guy now because he seems to be freaked out by me calling this guy an asshole. But I'm like, be on my side. He cut you too. I'm standing up for us.
No.
And Chris is in the other lane, and Chris I have clear, and Chris just has TSA pre.
Oh God!
I have pre too, but I have clear, and Chris beats me through just doing pre because the TSA clear was so slow.
Not to slow down your story, but you got to eye the lines. You take an inventory of both lines, and you say which line's going to be faster. It's not always about how many people it is; it's how irresponsible some of the people might look. Do they have kids?
Brian,
what are their ages?
I told Brian one time because he asked about like what line do you choose at a grocery store, like when you're looking at them, and I go, whatever line I choose, I don't ever think about it anymore because when I put effort into it, it will inevitably be the longer line. And because I've put effort, it will matter to me more and it will irk me more. So I don't care anymore and I just get in a line. But you're right. I should have paid attention.
You gotta in the grocery store, you gotta play the cashier.
Oh yeah.
Oh, do you know the cashier at the Whole Foods that makes you put it closer to him?
Yes.
I do it for every guy now because I'm just scared he might shapeshift into another guy. He always yells at you to put all your groceries as close to him as possible. So they're all lined up at the far right side of the.
He won't reach for them.
He won't reach. You got to move them. He doesn't want Scanner's elbow.
Yeah.
I think it's something that he's been afflicted with. He probably has some kind of tendinitis. So anyway, this guy cuts in front. I say asshole. Then I'm getting a little attitude with the guy in front of me. Then, and I'm just like, oh, this guy sucks so much. And then I already come up with a plan because I was like, this isn't a good look to be like saying just asshole to people.
No.
It's just not a good look, even if he is an asshole. So I think my new thing when someone does this, and I stole it from Taylor Swift. It's a thing I stole it from Olivia Rodrigo. How dare I confuse the two. In Vampire, Olivia's song, she goes, look at you, cool guy, got it. And she's like, she's saying it sarcastically, calling people cool guy. I think that's my new thing instead of asshole is to go, look at this cool guy. Because you can't be mad at someone calling you a cool guy, but it's 100% sarcastic.
Cool guy.
Oh, what a cool guy!
I feel like
that's my new thing.
If you would have said it to that guy, he probably would have turned around and like winked at you or something.
Well, here's the deal.
Oh no!
So we get through. Get through, and I'm ready to give this guy an evil eye on the other side. Once we get through the scanner, because we're all collecting our things at the same time because it's kind of backed up.
And he was the one interviewing you for the job.
Well, kind of.
Oh, no.
He puts on his jacket and he's a pilot. Which, by the way, I know the rules that pilots and flight attendants and people who work at the Hudson News, they always get to go in front of you.
Well, yes,
this guy did not look like a pilot at all. I would have never, ever. He wasn't drunk. He had a sloppy haircut. No, he just didn't look like a pilot. He didn't have any kind of pilot outfit on. Yeah. But then his jacket was like, Southwest gives him like these sloppy jacket. It wasn't like a good pilot jacket. So I felt horrible. And thank God the guy didn't start anything with me because I would have had it. Can you imagine? I called a pilot an asshole. I'm so sorry.
I thought he was your pilot.
And when we were walking, she was like, yeah, what if that was our pilot?
Then Chris goes, what'd you say?
I don't remember.
You were like, yeah, can you imagine if he was so mad at you, he crashed the plane on purpose? It's like, what's he going to do? Like, really? So it was just funny. I felt really bad. So shout out to all pilots who butt in line. You're allowed to. I know the rules. I know you're probably screaming at your podcast device being like, what if it was a pilot? I know the rules. I always make sure if it's a pilot. I've done this a million times. He did not read pilot. He was not giving pilot.
No, he did not indicate he was a pilot.
Asshole. he was giving cool guy.
He was in a hurry. Like he was giving I'm in a hurry vibe.
Yes, yeah. I'll never do it again. I really learned my lesson because it is not cool to be a woman or to be any kind of person that shouts that just has like a tude about stuff and like it was just I told this before. When I get angry, I feel amazing. I feel powerful. I like it.
Yeah.
I feel right. It's the only time in my life I feel good is when I'm really angry. I feel amazing. I like tapping into it. I felt good, but I'm not going to say asshole. I'm not going to cuss the next time I get angry.
No.
Cool guy is my new thing, and I will be getting an attitude with the word cool guy.
Yeah.
It will be uncomfortable for people around me, but it won't be as uncomfortable as asshole because that is inappropriate, and I do regret that.
I think it's a good idea to say cool guy, but it just doesn't get that same punch. Doesn't get that anger. Like if you said, look at this cocksucker, like that, like really gets it out of you.
So good.
This motherfucker. Like to say cool guy, that's going to tamper it a little bit.
Well, cool guy to me, it has a nonchalance to it that could get under their skin.
Yes. There's a thing I'm saving for the intrusive thoughts episode we're doing right after this. That is another thing that I'm doing to get back at my haters.
Yeah.
Wait, I think, hold on. I just want to share this with you because I'm just don't want to burst your bubble, but
oh no,
part of me thinks that the whole like anger and getting satisfaction, calling them a cool guy or asshole, it's kind of like the antithesis of having empathy.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
It's fucking with my mojo. It's
Who gives
fucking with
shit? Who cares?
Hey,
somebody is fun.
No,
it makes
I'm
you
trying to
feel
keep my
good
temple
strong.
clean and calm.
Fuck
it's not
the clean.
good.
Have a dirty temple, you'll be fine.
No, it's not good. You got to sweep the steps. You got to keep it clean. You got to keep your
side of the street.
Yes, it's true. It's like, and I've said this a million times. I know better than this. It's just when you are underslept and you are not being mindful and you're just on autopilot, your anger can get the best of you, and it's not good. It is not good for my health to be mouthing off at anyone, even if they really harm me in some way. I should always be nice. And that's why, Noah, I think I sent you a thing. Final thought. Noah, I think I sent you a thing that I wanted to share a long time ago, but it was someone who had. Yeah. Do you have it?
I do.
Will you
have it
read
right
it? Because
here.
it made me so happy. It was about people on Instagram who get DMs that are so hateful and mean.
Ugh.
And this one girl
Those
had the
people
idea
can
to
eat
just
shit.
write nice things back.
Okay.
And it instantly changes everything.
Oh.
Because then they go back, they're like, hey, I'm sorry. I was having a rough day, and like this sort of thing is hard on me, and my kids are this.
So what she writes is, my favorite thing in the world is responding to my hateful messages and seeing how fast I can change their mood. Okay, no, will you read that because it's too small for me? Oh, wait. He goes, shut the fuck up and go back the fuck wherever you came from then, pussy. And she goes, you look really nice in your icon. What do you use to whiten your teeth like that? And they go, I'm pretty nice usually, just a little sick right now. My girlfriend does it. I don't really prefer it, but I like the pic. I like your facial hair. Wish I had. Okay, so I guess this is a guy. So immediately, everything is fine again. The person is back down.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing. There's another one that goes, where does one... Then the guy wrote back, where does one get those? And she says, any drugstore, like... I guess this is her writing? Him writing?
This one doesn't seem like an example. This one seems like it's just a random conversation.
Or like a continued conversation.
Oh, it was still, yeah. He goes, where does one get there? And
they
she
became
goes,
friends?
Yeah. And she goes, any drugstore, like CVS. I guess they're talking about facial hair at this point.
Wow.
And then the hater came back and said, appreciate it. Well, sorry to have been rude, man. Have a good night. Sleep well, homie. Love you. It made me so happy.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
The thing is, every time you lose control, everybody around you knows this woman's not doing well.
It's
when you
I know, but you know what? Sometimes I need people to know I'm not doing well.
Yeah,
right.
It's
that's why
sometimes
you
a
do
cry
it.
for help.
Yes,
right.
I think it is. It's sometimes
yeah.
it's my castles are crumbling and I can't keep it up anymore. And I need people to know, like, I want people to feel sorry for me.
Somebody help me.
I think it's asking for help, but it's honestly pushing people away because they're like, I don't want to get involved in this at all.
I caught myself.
I think that's a really good point.
The other day, yesterday, I had I put blueberries in those green crates. You know those green crates that you can get.
Oh yeah,
yes.
But they
At the
fall
grocery
out
store.
of the blue. They fall out all the time. I opened up the refrigerator and the blueberries fell out, and it fell out in the back, and all the blueberries fell out, and I almost exploded. I was almost like, these fucking blueberries. Of course, the blueberries go everywhere. Well, and today of all days, like yesterday was any worse than any other day.
Today of all days.
But I caught myself and I was like, Brian, It's fine. Just let the blueberries bounce around. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I didn't explode, which I was very happy about.
I did the same thing. Okay, so this weekend I did have a good mindful moment. I have these amazing pants by Ripley Rader. If you're a girl, you know what I'm talking about. They're advertised to you all the time. And the tagline is, my clients always, or people who buy these always tell me Ripley Rader is the girl that makes them, I guess. Or whoever the woman is that created the brand is like, people tell me they wear these to get laid or get hired. And it sold me so much. They're such cute pants. I'm obsessed with them. They fit perfectly. And this weekend, I wanted to wear them to the Swiftie show. So I went to iron them and it burnt them.
Oh, because they're like
they have some
nylon or something in them.
And they're $200 pants. I mean, these aren't cheap pants and they're my favorite pants. And I was like, you're such an idiot. That was such a quick thing to do. You set it on the highest setting. You didn't test it before. You didn't look at... I looked for a tag that said don't iron and they didn't have it. So there's a part of me that was like, I'm entitled to a new pair of pants. But I didn't do that. You know what I did? I just quickly bought a new pair of pants and said... You're not allowed to like be a victim today about this.
Yeah.
This is such a dumb thing to be upset about, that there's a little orange stripe on your pants now from it being burnt. It's okay. You can have nice things. You just messed up. You're a good person. It's okay. Mistakes happen. Buy a new pair of pants. Just fix this right now and go have fun at Taylor Swift.
That's sort of the key to everything. And that's why resilience is so important, is like, you are going to get over those pants eventually. Like everything I've ever done, I've gotten over it. You're going to get over it eventually.
You with the chair and the caulk.
Oh God. Whew. I almost picked a chair up that's this size over my head and threw it out my door because I got paint on it. And I've been babying this chair for years because it's all white and I don't let like things get near it. And like I got a little bit of paint on it and you can't get it out. It's actually stain. It's like, like wood stain. And when I did it, I saw it. I was filled with rage.
Yeah.
Filled.
And I was going to pick the chair up and throw it out my front door.
Oh, that would have felt
and I was,
good.
and I even thought to myself, this could be a turning point in my entire life. Like if I pick this chair up and I throw it out the door,
you could have killed Hitler,
me, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Then that's you. If someone sees that.
Well, even for myself, like I just don't want to cross that line where you...
I remember one time my dad almost hit me. I was a kid and he was like, he really wanted to. And I could tell like, I almost wanted him to because I just...
Didn't you threaten him?
Yeah, I did.
Or you goaded him?
I was the greatest of all timing him. So, goading. Sorry, it's the other word. I was goading him so hard. I remember it was like he had said something to me. He complained about my mom to me because there's not good boundaries in my family. So he had complained about my mom about something, and I had told her about what he had complained about because I was tired of being this go-between, which is inappropriate.
Not fair. Triangle of communication.
Exactly, triangulating. So I didn't realize at the time, like, Dad, don't take it up with Mom. Don't take it up with me. Go see a therapist. And by the way, my dad sent me a note today because I posted on my story. There's this like beautiful picture that apparently was from propaganda for Jehovah's Witnesses, but it just shows this like kind of paradise, and it says this is the world if parents went to therapy, and it's just like all humans and animals all living blissfully together, and it says this is the world if parents went to therapy, and my dad wrote back haha to that. So this is an example of like maybe he wouldn't have done it, it didn't fuck me up too much, but it was just if you're a parent out there, don't complain to your kids about your spouse. Go to therapy and talk to someone, even if you have no one else to talk to. It's inappropriate because
character assassination.
Yes, it's not good. Even though I know that like at the time it was just, I was probably complaining about my mom and my dad was like, I agree with you. You know, like it was probably just a way for us to bond in that moment. And my mom has done the same for me with my dad. Like it's hard not to do that, especially when your daughter is super smart and intelligent.
What kind of stuff does she say?
And so off air, that'll be in the Intrusive Thoughts episode. Dad won't pay for that.
I was really just trying to get you to do a Julie impression.
You know what? He's tracking in mud all the goddamn time. I just got this goddamn table, EJ. You put a scratch on this table already. This is bullshit. You know what? I'm not even going to have nice things anymore. You know what? The house is going to go to shit. Fine. I'm not cleaning anymore. I'm done. So, so my dad, I told my mom and he was like, you told her? And I just remember him like he wanted to slap me so badly. And I kind of deserved it. I was really a cunt at this point in my adolescence. Like this was probably 17, 18, 19 years old, around there. And I just remember saying, I go, Dad, hit me. I go, everything's going to change though. everything will change. It will never be the same between you and me if you do it, but you should do it. And he didn't do it. But I remember being like, this is the moment, Dad. Everything.
I feel like that's too old of an age to be hitting a kid. It's just basically like brawling with your kid, like a street fight.
That's the right age.
You want to hit your kid between the ages of 3 and 7.
Yeah.
Yes. But only if you want them to be a professional athlete or musician.
Yes.
No kidding.
What if he did this? Right. What if he did that thing in movies where he goes to punch you, but he really just punches the wall right next to your head and misses you, and then teaches you a lesson?
Still violent. No, I don't like that. I think that is crazy. I think that even if you witness that as a child, that is like really traumatic.
He punches next to your head, he misses you, it makes a hole in the wall, and you go, look at this asshole.
I have a friend who's constantly injured, and every time I see him, he has some new like bandage, or like has like a new ace bandage on his arm or his leg. And I'm not joking you. I go, what did you kick? And every single time he's hit or kicked something because of his anger. Yeah, I'll tell you who afterwards.
Is it Johnny Manziel?
But it's really a thing that people do. And I talk about anger. I mean, I could talk about it all day.
Yeah, you can.
It's so fun.
Yeah, you can.
It really horns me up for some reason.
Boy,
It gets me charged up. I feel good. I like it because I think it's something I just never addressed for so long. So when I get angry, ooh boy,
you become somebody different.
Oh, you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you've been like,
I've been like, what is going on?
Who is this lady?
Why is this happening?
And why does she only come out during her therapy sessions?
Safe space.
Safe space.
Do you want to end on you said something the other day. Yeah, because we're saying, we're talking trash over here.
Yeah, okay, I'll end on a good note.
Talk about your dad hitting you. Great guy. Good note. That was good. All right.
Be sure.
That was a Nikki Glaser podcast.
Really? Wait, what's the good note?
You said something really nice about the meet and greets after the meet and greets that I thought was great. I think you should share with people. Do you remember what it was?
No. Will you share it?
You talked about how it's fun because you haven't been doing them for too long, but now people will come back, and it's fun to have the moments when people come back, and like people are telling you really nice things at them, so they've become like kind of like friends. A source of joy for you.
Yeah. It feels really good. Well, I will have to say to people that listen to the podcast, it really means a lot to me that you listen to the podcast. I'm so touched every single time. And it's always like this really awkward moment of like, it's as if someone's like, I read your diary kind of thing where I'm like, it is for you to read, but like, I'm like, you read my biography or something where I'm like, I put a lot of weird, I don't even know what was in there. So it's always a moment where I get a little bit awkward, but I love you so much for listening, and it means so much to me. And like, that gives me more self-esteem than anything that people just like to listen to this thing that is just so 100% me and isn't there's nothing being put on here. There's no performance.
12% Brian and 40% Noah.
Yeah.
5%.
It's really, really nice. And I appreciate it so much. But if you really want the real me, you got to do Intrusive Thoughts. You got to be a big money player.
Or go to therapy with her, or cut her in line at the airport and not be a pilot.
Or go see her this weekend. Where are you going to be?
Or you can, come see me this weekend because I get buck wild on stage, man. It's all coming out recently. This weekend is going to be Rehoboth, Delaware. I've never been there, but I cannot wait to perform in Rehoboth, Delaware, and then Atlantic City on Saturday night. And then next week I will be in Tempe. Noah will be at the shows backstage with me. I'm so excited. And then I will be in Portland on Saturday. So a Thursday, Friday in Tempe, Arizona, and then Saturday in Portland next week. And I would love to meet Besties. There's meet and greets. You can just find Anya at the merch booth. Tempe, I don't know how we're going to do the meet and greet. We'll figure something out. But or DM me and we'll figure it out as well. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We'll see you tomorrow. And don't be cut and... Dance, we'll be okay.